Reason to Heal by Barbara King. My son had a brilliant mind and enjoyed working with electronics. The Navy provided him with the perfect career. Although what he was doing was often top secret and he could tell us little, he seemed to enjoy his work. He was based in San Diego, 2 hours away, and many times the phone rang at our home in Apple Valley with Bill saying, "Hi, Mom. I'm coming home on leave and bringing a buddy." The same afternoon, he would stick his head into my vintage clothing store. "Hi, Mom. This is my friend Joe. We'll see you at home for supper." In the summer of 1990, he re-enlisted. The Persian Gulf conflict was heating up. Bill spent the week before he left finishing all the projects he had started around the house. For some reason, he made sure his papers were in order and said a special goodbye to his girlfriend. At midnight on the eve of his leaving, I found him still working on the new electric eye light above the garage. "Bill, don't worry about it," I said. "You'll be back in no time." But he insisted on installing it. He called every Sunday, and things always sounded fine, so I thought nothing was strange that August Friday as I looked through the picture window as a van pulled up in front of the house. A repairman probably, I thought. The van doors opened, and several men got out. Navy men. An officer, a chaplain, and an enlisted man in his dress whites. There's only one reason why a configuration of Navy personnel comes to your house. I panicked. I started pacing up and down the hallway, shouting, "Oh, no, no, no!" Dave wasn't home. I felt so alone. The doorbell rang. Still, I paced, somehow thinking that if I didn't answer, it wouldn't be true. When I heard the knocks, I knew I had to go. I opened the door and said to the solemn-faced officer, "Don't tell me what you're going to tell me." I'm sorry, ma'am," he replied. "I have to." Bill was dead. My only son was gone. He died during Operation Desert Storm, and he was 28 years old. As an officer was telling me what details he could, a strange thing happened. I felt a warm pressure, like someone laying their hand on my shoulder, and I heard the words, "He's all right." An unexpected calm descended and carried me through the next few days and weeks. There comes a time after a personal tragedy that's especially hard. After all the fuss, everyone's life goes back to normal, yet yours remains shattered. The devastating news of my son's death kept coming back to me in different ways, each one as if I were hearing it for the first time. One day, for some reason, Bill had an absent-minded habit of losing his sunglasses. When the Navy returned his personal effects, a shiny new pair of sunglasses on top, I wanted to scream. Now I had Bill's sunglasses, but I don't have Bill. One day, I decided to take a drive, just to get out. "Use the Nissan," Dave said. I had new tires put on. I got in the car and took off alone. As I drove, I turned to God in anguish. "Why?" I asked. "What plan of yours was so important you had to take my only child?" I wondered if God even cared that my heart was broken, my life in ruins. Then, as I approached the Cajun Pass, there was a loud pop. One of the tires had broken. I managed to steer the car off the road. Traffic was heavy. I was lucky I hadn't caused an accident. I went to a call box and asked the operator to contact my husband. Then I walked back to the car for a long wait. One thought was on my mind. If Bill were here, he would help me. If Bill were here, I started to cry. "Excuse me," I heard a voice say, and I wiped away my tears. Across a barbed wire fence sat a wide-open, bumpy field. There placed a small car with a man in front of it waved at me. "Can I help you?" he asked as he popped the fence easily. "I didn't want to startle you." I looked at his car strangely placed in the field. Why hadn't I noticed it before? "You need help," he said, inspecting the blown tire. "Let me take care of this." "Where are you from?" I asked. "Around here." I could have sworn I knew everyone, especially someone who reminds me so much of Bill, I thought. The young man took the lug nuts off and took the tire off. "I'm going to have to get this patched," he said. "There's a garage just over the hill. It won't take long." The young man hopped the fence, got in the car, drove. As he was driving in the distance, I wondered how a small car could handle a rough field. Before long, he was back. "You sure can hop a fence," I said. He flashed a big smile, and as he put the patch tire on, we talked. I wound up telling him about Bill's death and how hard it was to get through. "Yeah, I know," he said gently. "It's rough." The young man finished tightening the nuts, looked up at me, and said with authority, "Remember, your son is fine." Instantly, I was back in the same sort of peace as the time I felt a hand on my shoulder and heard the whispered words, "He's all right." I felt as though I'd been given a gift. When Dave arrived, I introduced the two men. They shook hands, and Dave gave me a bear hug. For a split second, I buried my face in his neck. We both turned away for goodbye and to thank the young man. But, to our amazement, he wasn't on either side of the fence. There was no car in the field. Dave and I looked into each other's eyes, both trying to take in what had happened. "Bill's okay," I said, breaking our silence. "He's in heaven, and he's fine. God had sent his angel not only to show me that he cared, but so I could, in turn, show others that I understood and cared. That seems to be the angel's message. God loves you. Pass it on."